iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them four abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to iRacing Live, Race Spot TV, and DirtVision.com for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series here on iRacing. Today, we're going to Lakeland. It's USA International Speedway, a racetrack that thankfully has been preserved on the iRacing surface after it ceased racing in 2008. It's myself, Cam Walsh, Randy Chenoweth, and Hugo Louis as we're bringing you the iRacing World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series. Randy, it's USA Speedway, 3/4 mile. It's a fast one.
I really couldn't be more excited for this track, Cam. Like you said, I love watching the racing here, and after coming off a big week, sprint car racing in the United States, Donnie Schatz goes back to the King's Royal. I'm really excited to see some of these World of Outlaws 410s here at USA.
Yeah, on this track, as we said, it's got moderate usage, not as heavy as we would expect to see perhaps in the weeks previous, so they should at least be able to run high and low. You can just see the track surface is at least fairly rough, I have to say. A lot of sheen coming off the middle lines, especially up towards the outside walls. Qualifying just about to be completed. Tim Ryan, well, he practiced first. He's on his qualifying run. We'll see what he can do. He'll go across the start line one time. Well, that's good enough for 12th position. And as we follow him around, this is kind of a paperclip 3/4 mile. Pretty quick corners. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty sure everyone is flat foot. The only time people are going to back off are when they're probably making maneuvers, but we'll see him as he goes one more time around, and he will go to second position with a 17.7. And Randy, everybody's in that 17-second bracket except for Chase Briscoe. It's going to, I have to say, be a close one here.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe, few tenths off the pace, unfortunately, but you're, for the most part, very, very competitive field here. Everyone's separated only by about 2 tenths. You have Logan CV with a 17.678, then Tim we just saw do that 7.14. He's probably frustrated with that. In practice, he put down a 17.647. That would have put him in pole, but this is going to be an excited 13-car event here over these next 25 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look at our starting grid here in the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series at USA Speedway. It is round number 6, and qualifying in first, no surprise here, it's the number 1 car of Logan CV, 17.6. Tim Ryan, that 17.7. Austin Semmelman, he'll start in third with Alex Bergeron, his outside. Timothy Smith, Kevin J. Holly, a fairly good qualifying session. He'll start mid-pack. Tyler CV is going to be here. Derek Walker, Lewis Hewitt, Stephen Renaud, Graham A. Bolin, John E. Lazinski, and Chase Briscoe rounds out this 13-car 410 wing sprint car field. And Randy, these cars, they really do have the muscle to pull along these straights and these corners, and that means that we're going to see very, very high speeds.
Yeah, speeds are going to be really quick here. For those who have not raced at this racetrack yet at USA that we have in the iRacing service, and those who are aware of sprint car racing in the real world, best way to think about this track is probably along the lines of something like Williams Grove. You got very long straightaways, relatively tight corners. Most of that distance, Williams Grove being half-mile racetrack, this being a 3/4 mile, I think most of that distance is made up in the corners. So because of that, these corners are wider and faster. Think about this essentially as a quicker version of Williams Grove Speedway. That's the sort of racing you expect to see here at USA International.
Yeah, much bigger too. So we'll see here. They've not only saved USA International Speedway in the hearts of racing fans around the world, but they've covered it in dirt, and my goodness, is it fun. So for Logan Seavey, we'll see what he can do here as we're just waiting for the cars to be rolled out onto the front stretch here behind that iRacing safety truck. And we'll see exactly. There we go. Rest of the field seems to be rolling out. We'll get underway in just a few short moments. Randy, starting inside or outside, which one would you prefer?
Well, everyone, I saw some people running up along the top in warm-up and qualifying. Looking at the sheen, I think in race trim, I think that running up along the top is going to be good. I think if you're Tim Ryan, Alex Bergeron, Kevin J. Hawley, Derek Walker, some of those first 4 rows on the outside, I think you can make some moves happen up there. That bottom, I think, is going to slick off really quick.
Yeah, and once that happens, I think you start hitting that middle line. We're going to start seeing some cars slide up, and perhaps that would create some danger. We hope that we don't see some cautions here today. That would, we do normally at least see 1 caution a race, but hopefully we can get this underway. 25 laps here today as Logan Seavey, he's hunting right on behind that pace truck, happily with the number 1. That, of course, means that he is the highest I-rating driver in the field. And Randy, we're going to get underway here. They're going to be pulling along that long front stretch. I wouldn't be too surprised if somebody doesn't try to make the dive to the inside. At least I would say when you wouldn't normally expect that to work.
Yeah, pretty much. It's someone's going to do something a little overly aggressive for sure, but that's the exciting point of sprint car racing. Very quick, very fast style of motorsport. And it's always fun to see if those moves are going to stick. But top side, bottom side, where's the grip on your race setup? How's your wing setting? Where do you feel confident? What side is going to be best here once we go green?
Austin Semmelman did end up winning last week at Eldora. We'll see what he can do from 3rd position. Logan Seavey, he, however, has the field under his control. The pace truck is going to pull in this time. There he goes, and we are going to be underway. Logan Seavey not waiting 1 moment as he is leading the field into corner number 1. They're going 3 wide into corner number 1. Somebody touches the grass, and they are sideways, and they manage to catch the car. Tyler Seavey, as we've already got 2 cars, 3 cars collected, and that is going to bring the yellow out just like that. Graham A. Bolin and Stephen Renaud finding themselves in quite a bit of trouble as the rest of the field now catching up to the pace truck.
Yeah, everyone else getting themselves to the pace truck, and that has to be frustrating for both of those drivers, the Steve Renaud as well as Graham Bolin, getting an idea of what happened on this incident. And I think, Cam, you're right. It's just basically aggressive driving. The 7 got down low, and then the 12 got in the grass. The 12 actually is the one who got up into Graham Bolin in the middle of the racetrack, and really no fault in the 13 or the 9 at all.
Yeah, we've seen this where one car, just always something seems to happen, and they always collect a couple of guys and always manage to get away with it. I think that grass is actually kind of a rut. Like, it's taller than the track, so once the tires hit that, it really just washed them out and bounced them out. Either way, looking at the cars, I don't see anybody retired. Actually, I see Graham A. Bolin and Lewis Hewitt retired, and Tyler Seavey on pit road. So actually, I take that back. 10 cars now running. And really, I think that mostly happened when one of those cars, I believe it was Tyler Seavey, ended up clipping the grass on the entry, and that is so very easy to do, Randy. And once he did that, he got sideways and kind of, I don't want to say held everybody up or anything like that, but everyone reacted, and I think it just kind of accordion.
Yeah, it really is sort of one of those. I mean, Tyler's had sort of a checkered history in these races. He's had a couple of these Monday night shows where he's run really well, and I think he took the checkered home a few weeks ago, but he's also someone who also ends up in these incidents. He's very aggressive, he's very quick, but I think he's over-aggressive to a fault, and he finds himself up against the wall and on pit lane a lot of times, basically of his own misfortune.
Yeah, and in the other side, perhaps in his defense, I have to say probably one of the most nerve-wracking things besides leading a cold.
You're the only one who gets panic attack, Cam. You're the only one.
Leading the intro,
only one.
When you're approaching the green flag, you have not really. There's no real way to practice a start in these cars, but it's always a rush. It's always frightening. But either way, the pace truck, he will be pulling in this time. I have a feeling all these guys, top split World of Outlaws Craftsman sprint cars, they don't get the panic attack, but we'll see here. Logan Seavey, will he take off exactly where he did when that pace truck pulled in the first time? The field nicely bunched together. It's wide enough to prevent anything. There was a little bit of a hiccup there, and they're already 3-4 wide as they're coming across the start-finish line. And just like that, one car gets ended up bunched into the wall, and here we go. Logan Seavey leading Austin Sebelman, and Tim Ryan is there throwing through. We've got a green here at USA International Speedway.
Well, they tried their mightiest to bring the yellow back out. We're going to stay green flag racing here, and everyone electing to go down to the bottom. So my predictions at the top being quick seem to not be working out, though. It's an early two-car breakaway between Logan Seavey and Austin Selleman. Tim Ryan, Alex Bergeron, they're currently fighting for third and fourth down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. And still, everyone liking the bottom line. You got one car working the top. I'm not sure who that is. I believe that's the 11 at Timmy Smith.
Yeah, Logan Seavey, he just went 142 miles an hour into one of the corners. So just to show you how fast these cars are going, Logan Seavey, he ends up washing out. And here comes Austin Selleman on the outside. He wants to get a piece of this pie. He's on the outside here, and we actually saw an amazing battle between Austin Selleman and some of the other cars last week. And so he is wanting to go 2 for 2 here in 2 weeks' time. But Logan Seavey, he's managed to recover after losing the rear end. And Randy, it's very easy to do that, especially with that slick middle.
That it is. It's really easy to wash out, just make a little bit of a mistake and lose your push coming off the corner and have absolutely no power down these long straightaways here at USA. So he manages to just get in front of the 2 and maintain his lead here. They work themselves on lap number 9 down the back straightaway into 3 and 4, still maintaining a slight gap over the 2 of Austin Selleman. For Tim Ryan, very aggressively, 2 wheels on the grass through 3 and 4 that time. I think that's going to cost him just a little bit of speed here. The 2 of Austin Selleman, Cam, I think he's overall quicker than Logan Seavey right here, but I don't think there's nowhere to go just yet. He needs to wait for this bottom groove to die, and he needs to get to the top early and make it stick.
Yeah, we did see that happen. He was at the outside, and he ended up working his way through. But either way, it's just it's been exciting so far. Once we've gotten past that early caution, which seems to be almost routine now, unfortunately. But for Logan Seavey now, I have to say this is probably some of the most pressure I've seen put on him. Austin Selleman is hungry. He wants this as he's working his way now. They're going through corners 1 and 2, and Seavey still on the inside. His left front just barely cutting the grass on the inside of the corners. You can only imagine as we're 12 laps into this 25-lap race just how long that's going to last, because it looks to me like Austin Selleman, he did have the pace at least for a moment, but it seems that things are pretty calm right now.
Things are calm for the moment, but are they really? Just watching this fight for the lead, they're dicing and slicing back and forth. See Austin Selleman starting to work up to the top on the exit of 2 a little bit. You see the way he runs these corners. He actually pushes up about a half car length higher every single time through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You see he gets a little bit narrower into the groove, and then he pushes up the track just a little bit on exit. These top 2 just slowly breaking ways. Austin Selleman looks to start making moves, look to the high side for the first time. Grip isn't there just yet. Hopefully does he get a bit of momentum? No, and that's going to cost him a little bit of space to the 1 of Seavey.
If he does start going up there, though, he will end up starting to push that dirt and end up starting to make that line start to work. But either way, though, everybody's still ducking in. I think to say Tim Ryan, he's going too low. That's actually allowing Alex Bergeron to perhaps come into the picture here, as he's running now pretty strong in that 4th position after starting in 4th. So no real change for him there. Really, the only people that have really shuffled is Austin Selleman and Tim Ryan. Everyone else seems to be fairly stable to where they were. Chase Briscoe, though, he's moved up as Alex Bergeron, he moves to the inside of Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan, I think taking that grass line was just a little too costly.
To be fast here at USA on the bottom, you have to be up against the grass there on the inside. So you see, if you watch the leader, Logan Seavey, Austin Selleman will second. They'll often put that left front just on that green turf down there at the bottom of the corners. That is where the speed is. But if you get a little bit too aggressive, maybe get a little bit too much of an angle in it, or just flat out turn in too early, put both front tires on the grass, you will lose a lot of grip, and it's not very good. You see Alex Bergeron aggressively sliding up the outside of corner number 4. We got 2 cars, all sorts of sideways. Got Derek Walker in the 10 down on the inside in the grass. He's going to get it back going. Was there an incident there from the 10 of Derek Walker as we're coming up to 5 laps to go?
Yeah, well, all I see is that he was just going through 4. He just tapped that inside concrete barrier, and he just actually slid it out and managed to wrangle the car back together. But I'm looking here, Logan Seavey, I believe Austin Selleman might have the line, and this might just be because he's in pursuit mode. But he does seem to be able to have a better exit line. I think he's starting to get a better strategy of how to do this, but you can see him trying. He's only got 5 laps to really make this work. Alex Bergeron, though, he's pulling away, and he is actually running fast laps right now. He's running 17.8s, while the guys in front of him are running 17.9s. I just don't think there's enough time left in the race.
Yeah, Bergeron's the quickest car on track right now, but will he have the time? Going to be 3 laps to go here at the line. So scratch that, 4 laps to go at the line. The 1 of CV closely leading the 2 of Selman off of corner number 2. And they're basically, I think they're running essentially identical lap times back to back to back here. But Selman just nowhere to go, and the door hasn't been opened yet. And the top group hasn't come in the way we thought it might. Lap 23 of 25 here, 3 laps to go through 1 and 2 now. Coming off the corner, can Selman get a run, trying to get up against the cushion? No, they're going to be equal down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. Come the 2 laps to go.
I almost wonder perhaps they can start really throwing that wing around, trying to adjust it to see if they could at least make one ditched effort. But of course, I'd be happy with a second place in the World Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series. Austin Selman, however, most likely not. So he is going to try somewhere on Logan Seavey, as we've got some lap traffic of Stephen Renaud. Will this come into effect? No, he won't. He very politely moves to the inside. Thank you very much, Stephen, as everyone rolls on through here. Final lap here at USA International Speedway. Logan Seavey seems to have built a bit of a gap over Austin Selman, and just like that, he sticks to the high side. Austin Selman to the inside, but there'll be nothing there. He'll wash out. Alex Bergeron, he'll come home into 3rd position. Tim Ryan, then Timothy Smith. I have to say, Randy, last couple of laps, that outside line was just starting to come in.
Yeah, those last couple laps, that's why we saw Logan Seavey go to the top side there through 3 and 4. Unfortunately for us, Austin Selman made that slight mistake through 1 and 2 on the final lap. He lost a little bit of time to Seavey. Otherwise, I think he could have maybe attempted a move on the bottom, but he was just a little bit too far away. Move couldn't possibly have been made. But those top 2 under a blanket the whole way kept it clean from green to checkered. Well, those 2 kept it green from clean from green to checkered.
Yeah, so let's take a look at our finishing positions here at USA International Speedway. It was a fairly good race, I have to say. Great top speeds, 140s going into the corners. Logan Seavey, he'll take it in 9 minutes and 5 seconds. Very quick race. Austin Selman, he'll only be 0.3 of a second behind Alex Bergeron. He'll move up to 3rd position, and he'll finish just 0.8 of a second behind. Then he gets 2 seconds back. Tim Ryan, Timothy Smith, Chase Briscoe started 13th. He'll come home in 6th. John E. Lozinski, he'll come home in 7th. Derek Walker in the 8th position. Stephen Renaud in 9th. Kevin J. Holly in 10th. Tyler Seavey in 11th. Lewis Hewitt and Graham A. Bullen rounding out this rest of the field here. Randy, I have to say, it's an extraordinarily quick track. Just 5 more laps. Give me 5 more laps here, and I think we would have seen that outside line come into play.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, 25 lap races. This is what sprint cars do in the real world. This is the sort of distance you have, 30, 40 laps. Anyone who says any different, I question whether they've really been to a sprint car event. But, well, I'd love to see a few more laps, but 3/4 mile track, these cars, they absolutely gulp fuel, and you can have issues with the fuel consumption there. So fortunate for us, and unfortunate that Selman made that slight mistake, and he wasn't quite able to get to the 1 and make a move. But have to say, pretty big event, pretty fun event. Overall clean, except for that first and early yellow.
Yeah, and that first yellow did end up taking out those 3 cars. That's unfortunate. I'm sure they would have been loving to get in the race, but that start, there was just that moment hiccup that managed to botch everybody together and ended up in that incident. But either way, though, we've got a couple of cars to interview here, a couple of people. We're not interviewing the cars. That would be a very one-sided interview, I'm afraid. But we've got the drivers out of the cars. No, this is dirt racing, thank you. But no, we've got the drivers out of the cars. That's right, turn right to go left. And we're going to talk to Austin Selman. He came home in the 2nd position here today. Last week was, of course, the victor. This week, though, he'll come home in the 2nd position. Austin Selman, the number 2 car. Once we get him in here, there he is, Austin Selman. Good job out there today at USA International Speedway. It was a little slick in that inside line, but it ended up being the fastest line until about the last 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, it was pretty one grooved. I wish it was a little slicker so we could side drive each other and pass, but tough track. Good run for us, but obviously like to be one spot better.
Yeah, obviously, but it's USA is probably it's pretty easily the fastest track we go to, 140 mile an hour into the corners. Sticking behind a car, I'm sure there's at least some element of the wind being disrupted over the wing or something like that. But either way, though, it's got to be pretty tough trying to figure out when you can commit to the outside, when you can commit to the inside, and just how you're going to be able to make a move, especially with that grass hump on the inside of turn number one's entry, which of course kind of prevents you from diving in.
Yeah, it's really hard. You have to pick your spots really precisely, and if you mess up, you're in trouble. But he got the wall. Logan got the wall out of two that one time, and instead of just blasting around the outside, I tried to slip. I was hoping he'd short side himself going in one there, and I tried to duck under him, but that didn't work. So kind of regret that. But other than that, there's really nothing else I could do. It was a good race.
Wow, good race indeed. But either way, it's good to get around to these tracks. This season, the tracks have been a lot more worn in. I have to say this is probably one of the more moderate that we've been to, but some of these tracks have been really beat on, and I think that's really sort of been showing just exactly how these guys are doing in the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series. You guys seem to be getting these cars together, and you're putting out some really good shows.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you just got to look at the lap times. We're all really close in qualifying tonight, so it's everybody's stepping up their game, and it's a lot of fun with so much competition. It's really hard. It's really hard to win these things. So winning a couple in a row like I did was pretty cool, and finishing second here is pretty cool. So anytime you can run the top three at this competition is pretty cool.
We are going to be going to Barberville for Volusia Speedway Park, and that track quite different. You're basically in the turn almost the entire time, except for the front stretch. It's good to have these two bowl tracks and then these two paperclip tracks, but how easy is it to flip the switch from a paperclip to a bowl?
It's not too easy. It's obviously a little easier when you have a good car, but no, it's not exactly easy. It takes a couple laps to get going and see the line. I probably prefer the bowl type tracks. I just like running the top. It's more fun, especially at Volusia. So I'm looking forward to that.
Anybody like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just the usual group. Obviously my team VLR. Visit teamvlr.com again. We got some leagues starting up again. Howard and Alex ran third, my teammate tonight. So we have some good stuff going on. Hopefully we can keep it going.
Alrighty, Austin Semmelman, thanks so much on a good job on a second place finish here at USA. We'll see you at Volusia.
Thanks, fellas.
So with that, we also have Alex Bergeron. He's here today, climbed out of his car, and we'll get him in here and interview him. And a fairly good race. He had a pretty good battle with Tim Ryan for those couple of laps, and finally got on by. Alex, how you doing? How'd the race go at USA today?
Well, Q1 good. I would have liked to be better on the starting grid, but I guess it's good for me. We started fourth and we finished third, so I guess that's a good night for me. And to my teammate Austin Simmelman, you just finished second tonight. I would have been glad to him for winning the race tonight. We had a great car, so pretty happy for tonight.
Yeah, and USA, obviously really high speeds. You get a lot of that one-line action for a little bit. That outside line was just thinking about coming into play, but really that inside line just kind of took over, and that was the fastest. So I saw you trying really hard on that outside line. Perhaps if the track was worn in a little bit more, that could have come into play, but towards the end of that race, you were the one putting down the fast lap times. You were going faster than the leaders, just kind of ran out of time.
Yeah, the track was coming in a little bit. I would have liked to have a track more slicker than this, but for tonight, I guess that's fine for tonight. One of the top three tonight. That was my goal for tonight. But the outside was coming in true. I tried the outside a couple of times, and there's not much grip. On a track like that. It's pretty much when it's slick. The guy on the bottom just slide through, but it's pretty much a one-line racing tonight, and pretty much like that. Not every week, but when the track is stacky like that, there's no possibility to pass if if you're not sending it or something like that. So I tried the outside and that didn't work quite good. So I tried to do my best lap for the race, and I did it. So that was another goal for me tonight, and I did. So pretty happy again.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to Volusia. It's obviously an absolute opposite of USA International Speedway. You kind of prefer that type of racing, a little bit more closer to the wall, a little bit more circular?
Well, I'd rather say I love pretty much Williams Grove. That's probably one of my best track. Maybe not my best track, but one I like. Volusia is another type of track. There's tight straight away on the front stretch and wide stretch. The back stretch is very wide, and we'll try to do everything we can next week, and we'll try to do like we did tonight. And yeah.
Well, Alex Bergeron, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to and thank before we let you go?
Oh yeah, I would like to thanks the group, Team VLR, the team, Austin Silverman for the help, and everyone on the Team VLR. It was a great night again, so hopefully it's gonna be like that next week. And for you guys, for broadcasting every Monday race, it's pretty fun. So continue your good work.
All right, thanks very much. We'll see you, and we'll see you next week, and hopefully a little bit better here, but obviously not much more to improve. Third place is not bad at all, so thanks very much for hopping in with us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Well, Randy, we're just about to closing up shop here. Any final thoughts here from USA?
It was pretty much exactly what I expected. The nature of racing here at USA, sometimes it can be a little single groove. I was expecting that top side, though, to come in a little bit more. The window started to open, but it was only really a lap or two that it sort of did. But a fantastic racing amongst the top five, and the top three separated by under a second, top five separated by 2 seconds. Very competitive field, very tight field. I think we're going to have a fun race next week at Volusia.
They've been really cranking on these setups, and I have to say, I'm sure they're making the setups obviously more fine-tuned. More people are understanding the cars. I almost think that more people seem to be communicating with each other. I know that's probably taboo, but these guys, I think they're helping each other out, at least in general senses, and these lap times are really coming down. So I have to say, Volusia is only going to get more and more exciting. All of these tracks are going to get more exciting, but especially Volusia. So either way, Hugo, I believe that is going to be it for this week. And this has been iRacing Live, RaceSpot TV, and of course, DirtVision.com, presenting the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series here on iRacing. Round number 6 at USA Speedway. Congratulations to Logan Seavey for taking the victory, and we will see them all come back to town here in Volusia, and we will see you all next time. Thanks so much for making RaceSpot TV part of your day. We'll see you all next time. Take care.